While videoing with my boyfriend, his roommates were up in arms to see me. I was smiling reservedly when suddenly my phone was snatched away. A magnetic voice with a smile rang out. "Don't be shy. Let the guys see what our girl looks like." And the next second, my ex-boyfriend, who had made a terrible mess of our breakup, and I looked at each other in disbelief. The smile faded from his face, and after a long moment, he pulled at the corner of his mouth. Damn. The moment the man bends over, the star on a silver chain at his collarbone grazes the camera, and my breath stops for the second it takes to see his brow. Beads of Ethan Carter sweat rolled down his sharp jawline and into the open collar of his jersey as he stared at the screen for 2 seconds. His pupils gigantic. Damn. The next second, the cell phone was thrown to who knows where. The screen blacked out for a split second before it was hurriedly picked up again. Liam Sullivan holding it in displeasure. "What's wrong with you all of a sudden, Ethan?" Carter paused for a moment and snorted. "You don't have a good eye." Liam Sullivan, such a gentle person, has a rare temper, coldly said. "My girlfriend is very nice. Don't talk nonsense." "That's right. My sister-in-law is so pretty. I think she's even better looking than the campus queen of modern languages department." "Ethan, what's in your eyes? I'd eat noodles for 3 years if I could date someone like that." "Fuck off. I'd eat noodles for 10 years. His housemates roared. And Ethan Carter didn't say another word. Liam Sullivan held his phone up. "Sorry, stars. He probably lost at basketball today and is in a bad mood." The voice from the other side was gritting his teeth. I won by 20 points. Liam Sullivan's face didn't change. "That's acting crazy, star. I'll pick you up for dinner tonight." After hanging up the video, I quietly lay back on my bed. The daylight of the summer was a little harsh. I put my arm over my eyes. "With Ethan Carter. It seems like it's been 3 years since I've seen him. I didn't realize he was still wearing the star necklace I gave him. It was so cheap. I still remembered that the price was only $199. And the couple's necklace was only $100 after 50% discount, but I don't know where I threw mine away long ago. He does not seem to have changed much, but also seems to have changed a lot. Clearly still that face. But after maturity seems to be more sharp, like carving and grinding out the edges of the jewel. The arrogance between the brows and eyes cannot be suppressed. I suddenly remembered 3 years ago, when we hadn't yet taken the college entrance exam. Ethan Carter was also wearing a jersey like this, begging me with red eyes downstairs. "I'll listen to whatever you say from now on, and if you don't like my contact with her, I'll never see her again." We agreed to go to the same college, his voice hissed, a glint of brightness flashing under his eyes in the night. "As long as we don't break up, I'll agree to anything you say, okay?" He looked so pitiful that he was almost about to get down on his knees and beg me, but I just looked at him expressionlessly for a moment and whispered, "Ethan Carter, I've changed my mind. I am not going to U of T. My love affair with Ethan Carter began when the girl was too good to be true and ended when the girl was too good to be true. I end my sophomore year of high school. I had just transferred to the top of my grade, AT that time. The teacher liked to have a girl who was a good student sit with a boy who was not, so I was assigned to sit next to Ethan Carter. But Ethan Carter wasn't interested in studying at all. He was interested in me instead. He would either pull my hair or take my pen and hold it up high, then look down and smile. "Stella Clark, you're short." He passed me little notes in class, and when I opened them, they were sketches of me. I was about to scold him for being boring, but the teacher saw the note, showed it to the public, and sent us both out to stand in front of the class. I was a good student at the time, and had never suffered such an indignity before, so I pushed Ethan Carter with red eyes. "Ethan Carter, what's wrong with you?" He didn't say anything. But after a while, he folded the sketchy note into a star and slipped it into my hand. I looked at the star and couldn't help but smile. Chin Jingwan and I gradually become better relations. I will force him to explain the problem until he understands. Check his homework. Do not allow him to copy the answer. He will also wait in my downstairs every day with me to and from school, together with the door of the jewelry store. I secretly bought 2 star chain, sent him one. Ethan Carter in school is the man of the hour, good-looking, family money, can play basketball. Like his little girl, do not know how many point one of them came to me and asked me if I liked Ethan Carter. Teenage pride and unspoken irritation made me subconsciously speak up. I Wouldn't like someone with worse grades than me. The girl looked behind me. I jerked my head around, only to realize Ethan Carter was behind me, listening for who knows how long. He walked past me with no expression on his face. After that, Ethan Carter never reached out to me again. He stopped talking to me in class, he stopped looking for me to go to and from school with him, and we sat at a table without saying more than one word a day. I tried to explain to him, but he never gave me a chance that it wasn't. Until a year later that Ethan Carter tied me for first place with an amazingly improved grade. He called out to me that night and said seriously, "Stella Clark, I'm no longer worse than you. Now can you like me, nowadays?" My memories of that time are blurred. I only remember the day when the cherry blossoms in the school were in full bloom like a sea, and when the petals were blown by the wind, the teenager's eyes were brighter than a stellar explosion. The light traveled through the vast universe of light years and fell straight into my heart. I heard my own voice in that moment. Good, and we were together. The wildfire of youthful affection was uncontrollable, and we spent every day together. Ethan Carter introduced me to all his brothers and even tattooed my name on his body. I said I wanted to go to U of T, and he said he wanted to go to college with me later. His mom was overjoyed at his sudden upward mobility. And fortunately my grades didn't drop. So parents and teachers simply turned a blind eye, and we became the only couple in the school openly in love. I really thought that we would go on forever, until I realized that there was always a girl more important to him than me. Ethan Carter had a little childhood sweetheart that he grew up with named Amber Hayes. Amber Hayes' dad was Ethan Carter's father's driver, and after risking his life to save Ethan Carter's dad in a crash, he couldn't make it to shore and died. Ethan Carter's father was a very generous man and immediately took Amber Hayes and her daughter over, saying that he would treat Amber Hayes as his own daughter and raise them for the rest of their lives. Amber Hayes has been inseparable from Ethan Carter since she was a little girl. Even when we fell in love, she followed us to and from school. Ethan Carter and I had a lot of fights over this. It was hard for Amber Hayes to stop following us, but in 2 days, she suddenly appeared in front of me again. Damn on Ethan Carter. I am sorry. Sister Star, I know you don't want to go with me, but I broke my foot and Brother Battlechild had to take me home. Ethan Carter's eyes were on her, frowning as he counted her out. You didn't even tell me you hurt your foot, so if I don't come to you, you're just going to hop home on one foot, aren't you? Get up here. I remember the day Ethan Carter carried Amber Hayes on his back as he walked in front of me. Amber Hayes was lying on top of him, talking about their childhood. And I couldn't get a word in. She pouted. My feet hurt. I've never heard Ethan Carter's voice so soft. My feet hurt. What should I do? I want to eat the cake at the corner, the most expensive kind. Okay, I'll get you some after I drop you off at home. Brother Jingchi, can I still walk with you from now on? When I walk by myself, there are always punks outside the school staring at me. I'm so scared. Ethan Carter wrinkled his eyebrows. Why didn't you say so earlier? Why didn't you say so earlier? I'll pick you up in the morning, and you're not allowed to walk by yourself unless I'm with you. Amber Hayes laughs and looks back at me. Good. The setting sun stretched their silhouettes so long it was hard to tell them apart. I fell farther and farther away alone. But Ethan Carter never looked back at me. It wasn't until he was dropping Amber Hayes off at home that he turned his head to me. I have to go get a cake for Hope, so I won't see you off today. Star, go home by yourself. I looked at him for a long time and turned my head away. Ethan Carter and I had a cold war for a whole week after that. Ethan Carter didn't think he was wrong at first. I've always treated Hope like a sister. How could I not see when she hurt her foot? I was expressionless. She could have asked her mom to pick her up or your driver. Why did she have to wait there for you? Why did she have to wait there for you? You treat her like a sister, and she treats you like a brother. Don't you dare say you didn't know she liked you. Ethan Carter's eyes averted and he finally sighed and hugged me. Star, I really only like you. I'll make it clear to her in the future and keep a distance from her, okay? I closed my eyes. Okay. After that, Ethan Carter did go to Amber Hayes. I don't know what he said to her, but all I know is that Amber Hayes left the classroom in tears and never looked for Ethan Carter again. I thought that was the end of it. Then one day Ethan Carter came to me with a frown on his face and stammered. Hope says there's a guy from another school who's been pestering her. She's rejected him several times, and he's still pestering her. Today he got some of Hope's friends to hang out with him, and she's asked me to pretend to be her boyfriend to talk him out of it. He looked at my expression and added, "It's just for one night. Just make the guy back off. We've been over this before. Today you're carrying me home with a broken ankle. Tomorrow I'm being pestered by someone who wants you to pretend to be their boyfriend, and the day after that, what's the next day?" Ethan Carter is not good-tempered, but when he is with me, he is always patient and coaxes me. If it wasn't for saving my dad back then, Hope's dad wouldn't have died, and she would have a father to protect her now. I really can't leave her alone. Just this once. If you don't feel comfortable, will you come with me? Having said that, I knew there was no point in arguing with Ethan Carter any further, so I could only agree. "It's only one day I'm coming with you." Ethan Carter smiled and cupped my face for a kiss. Wife is really understanding. Love you the most. That night was the first time I'd been to a bar, and Amber Hayes was really surrounded by a very big and tall guy. Not hard to look at, just sleazy looking, who kept trying to put his arm around her. Ethan Carter stepped forward and pushed him aside to pull Amber Hayes into his arms, pressing his brow bone at the boy. "Keep your hands to yourself. She's my girlfriend." Ethan Carter had learned sparring in elementary school, and when he looked at the boy with a cold face, his aura was so strong that he didn't dare to speak. The others rushed to make amends. "Do you want to play Truth Dare? Tonight is Zhang Li's treat, so don't be shy about ordering drinks." Zhang Li is the boy who pestered Amber Hayes. I heard that his family is a gangster, and all the stores on the street have to pay his dad, which means protection money. He is the classmate of Amber Hayes' friend's boyfriend, a vocational high school student who met Amber Hayes at a dinner together and started chasing after her. Amber Hayes rejected him many times, and he didn't die. And this time he gathered a circle of friends for dinner to make sure that Amber Hayes really had a boyfriend like she said. Ethan Carter snorted lightly and threw an Amex Centurion card onto the table. "No, I'll pay for everything you spend tonight." Everyone's eyes were drawn to the black card. A girl's eyes glowed. "Isn't this the legendary black card? Hope, you're so bad. You didn't even tell us you have such a handsome and rich boyfriend." Amber Hayes smiled and leaned on Ethan Carter. My fingers clenched slightly. Ethan Carter subconsciously glanced at me. I turned my head away from him. Tension's face darkens and his brother's girlfriend, probably afraid he'll fight Ethan Carter, raises her bottle. "Let's play Truth Dare. Whoever the bottle points to is who." For the first couple of games, everyone picked truth, and no one asked any really outlandish questions. Just as I was breathing a sigh of relief, thinking the night would just go away, the bottle suddenly stopped in front of Amber Hayes. She smiled and pushed her bangs behind her ear. "I'll take dared." My heart sank hard as a bad feeling surfaced. Sure enough, the next second the girl next to me exclaimed, "Then you pick one of the boys in the room to kiss." With tongue, Amber Hayes blushed and her eyes fell on Ethan Carter. Ethan Carter looked slightly stiff and frowned subconsciously. "Then I choose." Amber Hayes didn't hesitate to point at Ethan Carter as Tension's face grew harder and harder to read. Ethan Carter sulked. "Change a dare." The girl raised an eyebrow. "You're not boyfriend and girlfriend. What's there to be embarrassed about? A kiss, a kiss." Everyone started to coo. Tension's eyes got suspicious. "Are you really Hope's boyfriend?" Amber Hayes raised a smile. Of course. With a hint of pleading in her pretty eyes, she climbed onto Ethan Carter's arm, her red lips slightly open. "Ethan Carter." My heart went cold. Ethan Carter stiffened as Amber Hayes moved closer to him, and the second before his lips met, I jerked up. His face was slightly turned to the side and Amber Hayes' kiss landed on the corner of his mouth. He panicked and reached for me, but I shook him off violently. I couldn't care less about the surprised looks on everyone's faces in the room and walked out the door at a fast pace. I walked down an alley and am pulled back by Ethan Carter. He panicked and explained, "I didn't let her kiss on me earlier. I didn't mean to kiss her. Don't be mad at me." Star, I couldn't take it anymore. "I've had it with Ethan Carter. We're already together. Don't you know how to keep your distance from the opposite sex? If you can't let her go, then don't be with me." "No, I really only treat her like a sister." Amber Hayes quickly followed. Behind her, Tension followed step by step. and a few punks with steel pipes and spring knives in their hands also surrounded her. Tension grimaced and laughed. Amber Hayes, he is not your boyfriend at all. How dare you fool me? Amber Hayes hid behind Ethan Carter with a sobbing voice. Amber Hayes is hiding behind Ethan Carter with sobs. Ethan Carter shielded her. The tension was already quite high, but Ethan Carter still looked down on him as he stood in front of him. I don't care if I'm her boyfriend or not. She's already rejected you. Don't you understand? Rejected? Tension raised his eyebrows. Rejected. Why does she come out every time I ask her out, hanging on to me while licking someone else? Amber Hayes, you're so tactful. I snapped my head around to look at Amber Hayes, who choked on her red eyes. I didn't. Brother Jingchi, he's the one who slandered me. Zhongli sneered. Ethan Carter. You have the ability. I know your family has money, but even if your family has money, you can't use it here. He waved his hand. And the people around him gathered around. You are really charming. So many women are surrounding you. Tension suddenly laughed and nodded at me and Amber Hayes. Today you can choose one of the girls to take away. The remaining one will play with me tonight. I will take good care of it for you. Don't worry. My heart went cold. I was with Ethan Carter. But could our relationship in the past few months compare to his years of childhood with Amber Hayes? Would he pick me? Amber Hayes' eyes widened, and she clutched the corner of Ethan Carter's coat. You can't leave me behind, Brother Beechard. If my father's here. Ethan Carter couldn't hold back any longer. Shut up. He then looked at Tension with an expressionless face. You can't take away any of these two people today. If you are a man, come at me. Tension's face sank. I want to see if your bones are as hard as your mouth. He then picked up a steel pipe and smashed it back towards Ethan Carter. The hood of Ethan Carter's black sweatshirt was lifted by the night wind, and as the steel pipe brushed against his ear, his left hand grabbed Tension's wrist and folded it in the opposite direction. The sound of the steel pipe hitting the ground and the screams of misery exploded at the same time. Several other people have surrounded up, but Ethan Carter, no matter how able to fight, is only one person. After knocking down two people in the end received the first blow. The back of the bodysuit was cut by the spring knife slit. A few steel pipe his retreat blocked impermeable, but for a time cannot take him. Ethan Carter spat a mouthful of blood with spit. Thick black eyes surged up vicious. Just when the two sides stalemate, Tension suddenly put the breakthrough on me. He copied the spring knife rush toward me. Ethan Carter's face changed drastically as he tried to block me, but behind him, Amber Hayes suddenly hugged him hard. I'm scared. In the next second, the world stopped in front of my eyes. A warm wetness came from my belly, and a few seconds later, I felt pain as an afterthought. Ethan Carter rushed towards me like a madman. Tension was just a student after all, and as soon as he saw what was going on, he got scared too and greeted people and ran away. Amber Hayes tried to stop Ethan Carter, but he pushed her away from her and slammed her into a trash can. She let out a cry of pain, but Ethan Carter didn't even look at her. He just tried to hold me up with a trembling hand and didn't dare move me. His face was pale. Stars. I had only one thought before the last of my consciousness faded. Falling in love hurts. If I'd known, I wouldn't have stayed with Ethan Carter. The good news is I'm not dead. The bad news is that the stab pierced my kidney and I was resuscitated all night and almost didn't make it back. I was in the hospital for a month. My parents were heartbroken and angry. My mom called Ethan Carter out on it. My mom scolded Ethan Carter directly. When you fell in love, I saw that your grades were good and it didn't affect your studies, so I turned a blind eye. If I had known that your family had so many problems, I would have locked her up in the house, but I wouldn't have let you fall in love with her. Although our family is not rich, we have not let her suffer much since she was a child. You know that the doctor said that if she had been brought in 10 minutes later, she couldn't speak with red eyes. Ethan Carter bowed his head and said in a muffled voice, I'm sorry, Auntie. It's all my fault. My mom took a deep breath. Don't you ever come back again. Seeing Star doesn't need your visits, and I won't agree to you being together. Ethan Carter clenched his fists. Auntie, everything is my fault. You should scold me all you want, but please let me come every day to help her with her lessons. The college entrance exams are coming up soon, and I'm afraid that she'll fall behind in her lessons and it'll affect the exams. The word college entrance exam poked at my mom's heart. No matter how much she hated him, she wouldn't take it out on me, so she could only hold her nose and acquiesce. My relationship with Ethan Carter was at a standstill. I couldn't forgive him, even though it wasn't his fault that I was stabbed. But if he hadn't agreed to pretend to be Amber Hayes' boyfriend, I wouldn't have suffered. I realized later that Amber Hayes had never rejected tension at all. She'd been hanging on to tension all along. And this time she'd only used tension as an excuse to get Ethan Carter to pretend to be her boyfriend. And she'd arranged for the girl who'd made them tongue kiss in advance. 2. Ethan Carter had a big fight with her and let it be known that he would never care about her again, and that the two of them would go back to their old ways and tell Amber Hayes to stop looking for him. He came every day after class with his notes to tutor me, rain or shine, although I did not give him any good face, but look at him come over every day. So proud of the person to do small low, no matter how my mom gave him a face. To look at the good-tempered look cannot help but slowly soften his heart, but I still have some hesitation. I said I wanted to go to U of T with Ethan Carter, but I just like U of T. The finance major I want to study is better at U of S. I don't know if I want to go to U of T for the sake of Ethan Carter, but I don't know if I want to go to U of T with Ethan Carter. It was time for the college entrance exam, and Ethan Carter's 3 months of tutoring did wonders. My grades went up instead of down, and I was 1 point away from being the top student in the city, which was good enough to support me in going to any school I wanted to go to. On the contrary, Ethan Carter was sick during the college entrance exams because he had to run around every day for the past 3 months and was worried all the time, so his grades were a little worse than usual. He was able to go to U of T, but he probably won't be able to choose his favorite major. Ethan Carter is quite good-hearted and sent me a text message when he was recuperating at home. Star, can I still go to U of T with you? I thought about it and decided to make a trip to him. I wanted to give Ethan Carter and I another chance. I think he likes me, and there's no way I can lie to myself about not liking him. We could get away from Amber Hayes when we went to college, and maybe we could still be good together. I asked around for Ethan Carter's home address and planned to go see him. I didn't realize that both his parents were home, and his mom looked like she had just gotten home from shopping, carrying a big bag. She was very warm to me, not the slightest bit of noblewoman style, and let me sit down and complimented me on my beauty. I've long heard Jingji say that his girlfriend is beautiful and excellent. My Jingji is really lucky. I've heard that you'll be attending T University together. T University is good. Our family has 2 villas there. If you and Jingji don't want to live in the school, you can come out to live there. Your childhood sweethearts can take care of each other, and we, as parents, can feel relieved. Ethan Carter's father is a bit not like my appearance, sullen face said. That is not unmarried cohabitation, it ridiculous. The child fooling around you also follow fooling around. I looked at his mom. Auntie, I want to go up and see Ethan Carter. His mom nodded with a smile. Go ahead. Go ahead. I am sure he'll be happy to see you. I walked up the stairs with quick steps and pushed open Ethan Carter's bedroom door. Ethan Carter, my words came to a screeching halt, stuck in my throat. Ethan Carter was asleep on his back on the queen-sized bed, covered in a gray silk 4-piece suit. He's topless, and the teen's firm, smooth, thin muscles glow honey-colored in the sunlight. Behind him, Amber Hayes, in a short halter nightgown, propped herself up and smiled as she greeted me. What brings you here, sister seeing star? The halter was so short that it slipped off the moment he got up, revealing the slight cleavage of the young girl. Ethan Carter's eyes opened blankly. A bright light of surprise erupted in his eyes the moment he saw me. However, he suddenly froze at the sound of Amber Hayes' voice and turned back stiffly. I snatched the door open. That night, Ethan Carter had been waiting for me downstairs at my house. He sent me many messages, begging me to give him a chance and listen to his explanation. It started raining in the evening, pouring rain smashing against the glass, and he was drenched to the bone, soaking wet. Even my mom couldn't stand it. He's just sick, so go down and take a look. I went downstairs with my umbrella in my hand, and the rain fell down Ethan Carter's black hair on his handsome brow bone, and his whole body lost its color, and his voice was hoarse. Star, I really don't know when she came. I fell asleep after I took the pills. I really didn't look for her. I made it clear to her after you went into the hospital last time. I told her that I only thought of her as a sister, so that she would die to me. I told her that I only liked you. I believe you. I interrupted. Ethan Carter was pleased at first, the smile on his face slowly fading when he realized that my expression hadn't changed at all. But I'm tired. I whispered. Ethan Carter, I'm sure you like me. And I'm sure you're just brother and sister to her, but I'm really tired. The entanglement between the two of you is the entanglement of two families, and I can see that your dad should like her a lot, and is wanting the two of you to be together, right? That's just what my dad thinks, Ethan Carter said. Sharply, I never wanted to marry her. I believe you, but if we stay together, what about later? Can you just die with her, or are you going to keep doing this? Where she keeps coming to you, you keep explaining, and I keep forgiving? I lowered my head. Ethan Carter, let it go. That's too tiring. Ethan Carter's voice trembled, and he took my hand in a death grip, but we agreed to go to U of T together. Star, give me another chance, okay? In the pouring rain, his eyes became redder and redder. And he didn't know if it was rain or tears. I really can't live without you. Trust me again. Stella Clark, I'm begging you. I whispered as I slowly pulled my hand out. Ethan Carter. I applied to the U of S. I am not going to the U of T. I handed him my umbrella. I'm going to go. You should go home early. I turned around and went upstairs. Ethan Carter stood on my floor for a long time that day. He didn't have an umbrella, and the rain made him look like an abandoned stray dog, standing stubbornly in the same place where he met his master, thinking he could still go home. That was the last time we saw each other before the reunion. After that, I went to the U of S and Ethan Carter went to the U of T. We never saw each other again. We never met again. I didn't think it would be such a coincidence. I withdrew my thoughts and forced myself not to think too much. What's past is past, and now I'm in a new relationship, so I'll just forget about my ex-boyfriend. I just don't know why Ethan Carter is suddenly here. I had a class in the evening, so I simply made a date with Liam Sullivan to go to the cafeteria for dinner. I didn't expect Ethan Carter to be there, with that silver star necklace hanging out of his black sweater. Grinning broadly as he took a seat next to us, I frowned. Can you go sit next to me? Ethan Carter grunts. What? You own the cafeteria? I can sit wherever I want. Liam Sullivan, still unaware of our relationship, rounds up the conversation. Star, don't get on his bad side. Jingchi is just a tough talker, but he's actually a nice guy, he said. He's an exchange student from the University of T. He's been here for a year, and you guys seem to be from the same neighborhood. Ethan Carter and I looked at each other. He rolled his eyes and I looked away. Liam Sullivan kept the awkwardness at bay, telling me some of the funny things he'd seen today. I just ran into the cow we were feeding earlier on the way out. He's put on a lot of weight, although he was a rich kid like Ethan Carter. He was well-bred and had a stable temperament. We met during club activities in our sophomore year, when he was the president and I was the vice president. And after a few encounters we soon realized that we had similar interests and always had a lot to talk about when we were together. It was only natural that he confessed his love to me and I said yes. First love is impressive, but life isn't a novel. I can't be in love with just one person for the rest of my life. I have to move on. Yes. Go cut his balls off sometime. I've been seeing him harassing the little she-cat lately. I laughed. Ethan Carter snorted. I ignored him as Liam Sullivan forked a small piece of cake and fed it to me. Your favorite cake. I just went to get it. I opened my mouth to take it when Ethan Carter suddenly slammed the table. It creaked and moved forward, dropping the cake in my mouth to the floor. Liam Sullivan couldn't help but frown. Liam Sullivan couldn't help but frown. What the hell is wrong with you today? Ethan Carter grimaced. Sorry, my hand slipped. The atmosphere of the meal became more and more silent, and I finally couldn't stand it any longer and pushed my plate. I can't eat anymore. Liam Sullivan was about to reach out, when Ethan Carter subconsciously reached out and picked up my plate and started eating my leftovers. Why are there always leftovers? Liam Sullivan froze. I opened my mouth to speak and stopped. Ethan Carter ate my leftovers the same way every time when we were together. Teenagers eat a lot, and when I ate less, he was always too lazy to whip up another serving, so he just ate my leftovers for me every day and never minded. I just didn't realize that he hadn't forgotten this habit until now. Ethan Carter's hand movements stuttered, and he stiffly lowered his head. After a suffocating silence, Ethan Carter suddenly got up and turned around without saying a word and walked away. A few moments later, a text message from an unfamiliar number came to my cell phone. All I'm saying is that you don't have a good eye. I thought long and hard that night, but I told Liam Sullivan about my previous affair with Ethan Carter, out of respect for him and for our relationship. And oh wonder he's so weird today. I treat him like a brother, and he covets my wife. Liam Sullivan rarely collapsed his face, but still comforted me. It's okay, it's all in the past. I'll try my best to give him less chance to touch you in the future. That being said, when Liam Sullivan and I had class together, we still had to sit together. Ethan Carter had no concept of keeping his distance from people he was seeing, and sat on my left with a big grin. There was no room in the classroom, so Liam Sullivan had to sit on my right, and I was on pins and needles, pretending to listen to the class, but in reality, sweat was pouring out of my back. Luckily, after half a class, Ethan Carter didn't do anything wrong, and just as I was getting relieved, a note was suddenly pushed in front of me. I pretended not to see. Ethan Carter, one-handed, propped up his head looking at me with a smile on his face, seems to be so consumed with me. I had no choice but to open the note when Liam Sullivan wasn't looking. I froze. On it was a sketch of me, exactly the same as when I was 17. The past suddenly whizzed by, and I drifted off for a moment, clenching the note into a ball with all my might as I came back to my senses and tossed it aside. The smile on Ethan Carter's face slowly disappeared as he picked up the ball of paper and looked down, not knowing what he was doing. A short while later, a crumpled star made of paper appeared in front of me. It coincided with Liam Sullivan suddenly turning his head over and raising his eyebrows slightly. What's this? It's just garbage. I crumpled up the star, got up with Liam Sullivan on my arm as the bell rang, and threw the paper star in the trash. I wasn't 17 anymore. I am not the age where I'm touched by little notes and paper stars anymore. On the way to the cafeteria, Ethan Carter was still walking behind us. Liam Sullivan couldn't help himself and frowned. I'm going to the cafeteria with my girlfriend. Why are you following us? Ethan Carter said carelessly. I'm going to eat too. There's only one way to the cafeteria. When did I follow you? I suddenly had the idea to ask Liam Sullivan to carry me. He didn't know what to do, but he obeyed. Liam Sullivan just carried me on his back and walked in front of Ethan Carter. The two of us talked and laughed along the way, while Ethan Carter on the other side of his face was getting darker and darker. I wonder if he remembers that when we were together, the person in his position used to be me. At night, Liam Sullivan pestered me to get bored under the dormitory building. Say a little more, say a little more. The nearly 6'9" man almost knocked me over when he pouted, then held me steady as if nothing had happened. Do you think him better or Ethan Carter? He stared into my eyes and asked the question out of nowhere. Here it comes. I was instantly alert. Here comes the question everyone with an ex gets asked. But I can't ask it back yet because Liam Sullivan doesn't have an ex. I was his first love. I didn't dare hesitate. Of course you are. So did you like him better, or do you like me better now? He narrowed his eyes and pressed on. I fell silent. Who do you like better? I liked Liam Sullivan a lot. Every day I was with him I was happy. I felt like we were soulmates. But the feelings of youth are sincere and passionate, and as usual, they don't contain a single impurity. After a brief moment of hesitation, Liam Sullivan got upset, and his face fell. I had to stand on my tiptoes and try to kiss him. Well. Of course I like you better. He had his hands in his pockets and wouldn't look down for me to kiss him. He was a head taller than me and I couldn't reach him without lowering my head, so I got angry and anxious and simply grabbed him by the collar. Liam Sullivan, you itchy skin is not it. Liam Sullivan laughed and kissed me. The camphor trees were blowing in the wind, and the aroma of lemon mixed with sea salt came out, fermenting into a misty and fresh scent in the July evening breeze. His lips carried a slight coolness, and his slender hand held the back of my head, gently yet forcefully imprisoning me as I stepped back from suffocation. Wait. I push him away violently. I'm suffocating. He looks at me with downcast eyes. Okay? What? The next second I'm shrouded in shadows once again as Liam Sullivan gently nibbles on my bottom lip. asking me with a vague question between his lips. So, do you still like him? I'm still jealous over this. I pushed him away and said helplessly, I stopped liking him a long time ago. It's all in the past. Liam Sullivan raised his eyebrows, his eyes landed behind me, and he hooked his lips into a smile. I turn my head and follow his eyes. Underneath the huge balsam fir tree, Ethan Carter, dressed in a black sweatshirt, is there watching us. He had his fists clenched in death, and I don't know how long had been looking there. Just when I thought he was going to come over, he suddenly turned away. The steps were big, and he looked a little worse for wear. I didn't expect to meet Amber Hayes again. After the high school entrance exam, I went to the University of S. Ethan Carter went to the University of T. Amber Hayes had average grades, so she enrolled in an ordinary college near the University of T in order to be with Ethan Carter. I heard that Ethan Carter's father had been trying to get them engaged, but Ethan Carter refused to do so. And he and his father had a complete falling out, saying that his father owed him a favor, and that his father wanted to marry Amber Hayes on his own, and his father was so angry that he slapped Ethan Carter in the face. Ethan Carter didn't come home for 2 years, and his mom was so mad at him that she called him crazy and wanted to divorce him. His mom was so mad that she called his dad a monster and wanted to divorce him. The family was about to be torn apart, and Ethan Carter's dad didn't dare to push Ethan Carter any further, so the whole thing just went down the drain. I thought Amber Hayes and I would never see each other again, but I didn't expect to run into her again at our club meeting. Liam Sullivan hadn't finished his classes yet, and I was waiting in front of the school to go to the party with him. After waiting for 2 minutes, a yellow Lamborghini Urus pulled up in front of me. The window came down, revealing Ethan Carter's face, which was so handsome it could be used as a credit card. Party? Get in. I'll drive you. I was wary. How did you know I was going to a party? You're not in our club. Ethan Carter smiled and pulled a picture from his phone and disliked it to me. I just applied to join the club last week and it's been approved. Isn't it okay for me to go to a group activity as part of the club? I was getting annoyed in my heart. I don't know why Ethan Carter is like this. I don't know why Ethan Carter is acting like this. We agreed to break up, and for him to act like he's still in love with me after all these years is really upsetting. I admit that I liked him, and I cried until I couldn't sleep at night because I broke up with him, but that's in the past. I am also too lazy to say more to him. Turned my head and left. The car door opens and closes behind me, and Ethan Carter tugs on my wrist. Stella Clark. Let's talk. He was so strong that I couldn't even break free. What the hell are you doing? We have nothing to talk about. Let go. You left when you said you would. You should have gotten attached to a dog after all that time. You left and left me behind. Well, now you have a new life. He let out a laugh. That laugh, but how to see how to gnash teeth, and a new boyfriend, and you've thrown me away like a dog. Forgotten all about me. Stella Clark, you're fucking mean. He clutched my wrist painfully and I shook it away, coldly. Ethan Carter, didn't I give you a chance? Would we have broken up if you and Amber Hayes hadn't been pulling each other's strings one at a time? You're the reason we broke up, not me. It was me, I know. Ethan Carter stepped forward, a tremor in his anger. But why couldn't you wait for me? I told you I'd fix this. Why couldn't you trust me? Are your feelings for me that fragile? I looked at him for a long time and said calmly, but, Ethan Carter, why should I have to keep waiting for you? Keep suffering for your mistakes? If you had feelings for me, would you make me wait again and again? Ethan Carter said sharply. Of course I have feelings for you. Ethan Carter, have lived all my life and I fucking love you, and you alone. But what does that have to do with me? I was indifferent. Ethan Carter, you're not the emperor of this world. No one is born to be around you all the time, waiting for you all the time. I am not obligated to trust you or wait for you. I have feelings for you, but only enough to last me until there. I've given you many chances. If I have to wait forever to be with you, why don't I go find someone who doesn't require me to wait? Ethan Carter's eyes widened in bewilderment. He opened his mouth slightly as if he wanted to say something and couldn't. I was about to leave when a sudden, sorrowful voice came from beside me. You guys together again? I turned my head and Amber Hayes was standing not far away pulling a suitcase. After many years of not seeing her, Amber Hayes seemed to have gotten prettier. Only her expression at the moment was twisted with resentment, and I frowned, not wanting to tangle with her. But she suddenly rushed up. No wonder he died and refused to get engaged to me. No wonder he hasn't come home all these years. So it's because he's hooked up with you again. She completely tore off her former gentle and lovely disguise and raised her hand to hit me. Stella Clark. Aren't you cheap? Is Ethan Carter the only man in the world? Can't you let him go? Before I could reach out, Ethan Carter clutched her wrist. I took the opportunity to slap her across the face. First of all, I'm not interested in Ethan Carter. Secondly, it's what we two have, and he doesn't have your name written on his face. He said he doesn't like you, and you keep pestering him. Am I the bitch, or are you the bitch? How dare you hit me? Amber Hayes went crazy and tried to hit back, but was violently pushed away by Ethan Carter and fell to the ground in one fell swoop. Enough, he said impatiently. I thought I told you to leave me alone. Why are you here again? Ethan Carter, you did this to me for her. Amber Hayes seemed incredulous. My dad saved your dad. If it wasn't for my dad, your dad would be dead. Ethan Carter couldn't hold back any longer. My dad is my dad. He'll pay for what he did. I've taken care of you enough over the years. Do I have to pay for my own life? Amber Hayes stared at him as if she didn't recognize him. After a long time, she dropped the words, Ethan Carter, you'll be sorry you did this to me, and got up and ran away. I felt bad. With Amber Hayes' obsession with Ethan Carter, she might do something. Sure enough, it wasn't long before I heard someone say, someone's going to jump from the family building in front of the entrance. By the time I got there, Ethan Carter had also arrived. On the rooftop, Amber Hayes was dressed in a white dress, the madness on. Her face was suppressed under the calmness, and the resentment was leaking out. The family building wasn't that high, just the 6th floor, but jumping off is a sure way to die. Ethan Carter has gone up to the rooftop, Face Ugly said. Stop it, come down. What do you want to do? What do I want? Amber Hayes whispered. I think you like me. Ethan Carter, why do you think we've become like this? We used to be so good together. When I was a kid, you were always there for me when I was scolded for not having a father. And you said you'd marry me when you grew up. Ethan Carter said, annoyed. It's just kid talk. How can you take it seriously? When I was a kid, I even said I wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. Amber Hayes didn't seem to need his answer and said to herself, everything changed when Stella Clark came along. Her eyes fell on me downstairs, and from this distance I could see the look in her eyes that wanted to kill me alive. Stella Clark, why did you have to show up? Do you know how many years I've loved him? If it wasn't for you, we could have been together. It's your fault. If I die, it's because of you. I didn't know what to say. I suddenly felt pity for the poor. Amber Hayes has only one person left in her life. Ethan Carter. He's been her dream for years. All she has to hold on to. That's why she's so twisted, I guess. Liam Sullivan, who had appeared behind me at some point, took hold of my cold hand as he pulled off the jacket he was wearing and draped it over me, looking up with a sneer. You're dead because you're stupid. You've got nothing but men in your life, and you're dead because Ethan Carter is stupid. He's the one who didn't handle your relationship well. What does that have to do with my girlfriend? The people next to him looked at him in surprise. Some even took out their cell phones to take pictures. Liam Sullivan didn't give a shit, one arm around my shoulder and the other in his pocket. Please, if you're going to die, get the fuck out of here and don't scare my girlfriend. It has nothing to do with Stella Clark. I don't like you without her. I've never thought of you as anything more than a sister, Ethan Carter said angrily. Don't embarrass yourself. Get down here, get down. Amber Hayes smiled. Ethan Carter. Either you promise to marry me today or I'll come down. If I can't be with you, there's no point in my life. I'll just die here. The wind howled from the roof, and the crowd downstairs clamored and pointed. Just when I thought Ethan Carter was going to compromise once again like he had before, he suddenly spoke up. Then I can't help it. Just go to hell. Amber Hayes' eyes widened. Ethan Carter's eyes were dark, but he spoke faster and faster, as if he was finally letting out the anger that had been blocking his heart for years. You're the only person in this world I can't be with. Why? Amber Hayes' eyes reddened and she cried hoarsely. Ethan Carter, I love you. Who else in this world can love you more than me? I'll treat you better than anyone else. Why are you so cruel to me? Ethan Carter looked at her fixedly. Because you have ruined the only possibility of happiness in my life. She doesn't want me anymore because of you. The next moment, the fireman who had crept up on Amber Hayes while she was mad grabbed her and dragged her off the roof. Amber Hayes was still crying and going crazy. Ethan Carter just stood still on the rooftop, never looking at her again. Through the howling wind, we looked at each other. This moment, his eyebrows seemed to blur. The teenager from 3 years ago smiled at me with bright eyes. Stella Clark, now that my grades aren't worse than yours, can you like me? In the next moment, he was suddenly broken and weathered, gone with the wind. We both knew that the past was past. We could never go back. The end of the exchange year. Ethan Carter went back to U of T, thousands of miles away. He didn't say anything before he left. That night, I received a message from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I'm sorry. I looked at this 3-year late apology and said nothing, just quietly deleted it. Seeing Ethan Carter again was at my wedding to Liam Sullivan. It had been 3 years since we graduated. Liam Sullivan had inherited the family business. I had joined a law firm. My career was on track, and it seemed like a natural fit to get married. Amber Hayes didn't die, but she seemed to be mentally ill and tried to martyr herself to Ethan Carter with a knife. Ethan Carter's father finally made up his mind and sent her to a mental institution. Her whole life, I'm afraid, will be spent in the high walls of the institution and endless psychiatric treatment. Ethan Carter left the country after that, and instead of taking over his dad's company, he went to work on Wall Street for a year and started his own business, founding his own investment company, and in just 2 years, he became very successful, investing in several very successful projects, which made him much more valuable, but he has never been in love again and publicized that he is not married. We all thought he would never come back to China. When I saw Ethan Carter in the best man's party, I subconsciously looked at Liam Sullivan. Liam Sullivan, dressed in a suit, shook my hand and smiled. He gave me a big red envelope and begged me to be his best man, so I was kind and had no choice but to say yes. He said, I had no choice but to say yes. But I had the feeling that this guy just wanted to show off in front of his rival. Throughout the whole wedding, I was always on the edge of my seat, checking what Ethan Carter might do. I didn't realize that he was really there to be the best man. He didn't smile much, but he was very cooperative the whole time. The only contact we had was when I accidentally tripped in the group photo, and he helped me and lifted my dress. Be careful. And then we never spoke again. Not even eye contact. I was getting over it, and when the wedding was over, I was carrying my dress to the bathroom when I bumped into Ethan Carter in the hallway, wearing a white shirt and smoking a cigarette. After all, he was the best man, so it seemed a little rude to pretend he wasn't there. So I said politely, the best man and maid of honor are having dinner. Why don't you go? He shook his head. I'm not hungry. Oh. I tried to move past him, but Ethan Carter called softly from behind me. Oh, you know why I'm the best man? I turned my head. Huh? Why? He glanced at me and pressed his cigarette butt out on the trash can, laughing softly. Nothing. He then glanced down at his watch, holding his suit in one hand. Gotta go. You tell Liam Sullivan for me. I gotta catch my plane. I in such a hurry? Well, I've been working on an investment project for the past few days, and am flying back just to be at your wedding. He turned his back to me and waved. See you later. I looked at his back. I said softly, bye, Ethan Carter. That night, almost all of the groomsmen and bridesmaids sent wedding announcements and pictures of us together. I and the group photo. Everyone was smiling for the camera. Only Ethan Carter looked slightly sideways, and his eyes seemed to be on me. Around his neck is the star necklace I gave him 8 years ago. I know he still has my name tattooed on his heart. CJX. I suddenly remembered a long time ago when Ethan Carter and I were still together, and we were walking past a bridal store with a big picture of our wedding hanging on it. Ethan Carter was holding my hand, smiling through his white teeth. Stella Clark. Sooner or later I'm going to be in this picture with you. I looked at the picture of us, and oh wonder he had to be the best man. Now we're finally in this one photo, but in this way. With a hot body behind him, Liam Sullivan whispers in my ear. What are you looking at? It's our wedding night. I clicked myself.